in a website, same as this, but with using complete frame scripts or even external ActionScript files. For ActionScript 2, we have the convenience of being able to hard code ActionScript directly into button instances. This makes it a lot easier and a lot quicker if you know what you're doing and you can keep your project compact. So as you see, I've only got 5 pages there, so I know that there's code on each of these buttons and not much other code, excluding this portfolio viewer. The best thing to do would, if you had a large website or you had more things going on interactively on the stage, would be to use frame scripts so you can see all the code laid out for each button instance, each graphic instance straight in front of you. If you're working with a team, it's better to use ActionScript 3 as well, because somebody can dive straight into the code and see where it's all located. They don't need to go into separate symbols to check the code. I'll update you a bit later on this. You'll see as the website expands how it can become difficult to manage if you don't know where everything is. So hopping back into Flash, home button is selected and I'm in the Actions screen. We want to create a go to and stop function, it's called. So again, it's another one of those keywords reserved by Flash that has a specific function. For this, we need to type on bracket release. So again, we have the on function, which listens for an event, parameter of being released, so when the mouse is clicked and released, it will do whatever is inside the parentheses. So on release, go to and stop. Put it in apostrophes, double quotes, home. So this will take us to the frame that we labelled home at the beginning of the video. Close that. Next step that we want to do is on the About screen, right click, Actions, and put another stop function so we can stop the playhead at the About screen. Jumping back to the beginning of the playhead, we want to add some more buttons. I'm just going to create another box, color of red, text, color blue, oh I had it white didn't I, and call this About. So we're going to place that onto the button. Ensure that again it is classic text type and it's static. The new TLF text I'll just run over shortly is used inside ActionScript 3 as it says. So short of changing the publishing settings and buggering the whole video so far, I won't do any of that. Go back to the video, go back to Flash, select the About text and the box. Right click and convert that to a symbol. I'm going to call this About_BTN. Again, type button, press OK. This is now another instance. You can create many instances of the one symbol by going to your library, and you can drag out many of the same. You can give them different instance names so they are identified differently in Flash. Delete those. So, because I've created this About button on the very first frame, and there is another keyframe afterwards, because it's not drawn there, it will go away. What we want to do is copy this About button and right click, paste it in place on that frame. So now it will stay there in the exact same spot. In an ideal world, when you've got your storyboard set up and your plan of attack to execute a Flash website, you'd have all of these already pre-drawn. So you just go from your sketch and create all the buttons you needed on the very first frame there. So you wouldn't need to do this every time you created a new keyframe. Just to show you how it works though, I'll go through it this way. For this About button, we want to add in some scripts for it. So we're going to right click, Actions, and again we're going to use the on release, go to, so the parenthesis, go to and stop About. So you can label these frames whatever you want, but I'm going to call it about because it corresponds to the button. It seems logical. So go to your about frame, go to the properties of that, and name it about. Now if we preview this movie clip, we'll be able to click about and jump to the about screen. So you can see it changes there. Basic animation. Again, you're going to have, if you wanted to jazz it up a bit, you can use different tweens to make it a bit more flashy. If you go and do a Google search for Flash websites, you will see a lot more going on. So this is a fairly basic one that I whipped up in 10 minutes just for submission to a client. And that's pretty much how you do it. So that's all I've added. The only difference that I've got happening in this one is, of course, the graphic elements and different tweens. So to create this effect over the button where you see the line floating underneath it is just when you go into a button. On the over, you create a separate movie clip symbol and you have this floating line, which will take all of 5 seconds, so I'll show you how to do it. So, second way to create a movie clip is insert new symbol. We're going to call this selection underscore line, if I can type properly, of type movie clip. Press OK. You get a screen pop up, blank screen of sorts that you can create a new movie clip in. You can see it's relative to screen 1. So you've got scene 1, selection line, movie clip. I'm going to create this line and maybe make it a bit heavier so we can actually see it. Next thing we want to do to that is give it some effects. So we're going to go right click, insert keyframe. We'll make it at 15 frames, fairly quick. I'm going to change the color of it. So we wanted to change to green, and then at 30 frames, insert another keyframe, and we're going to want to change it back to that grey color that we had previously. So you'll now see that playing this through, it'll jump straight to green and then back to the grey. We want to tween that in. So in Flash 5, CS5, it's right click and create a shape tween. So it will gradually fade it in and then fade it back out again. Right click, create a shape tween. So it fades in and back out again. That will play through in its entirety over and over again and loop unless you specify a stop function. That will play it through once and then stop. We don't want it to do that, we want it to go through to give it a bit, to give this button a bit more user experience. So let's go into the about, and on the over, we're going to want to place from the library our newly created movie clip that we named selection underscore line. Place it there. I'm going to change the size of that because it's bigger than I thought it was going to be, and jump back out of it. So as you can see, we do have the about button inside scene 1. It goes down many levels, so to get to the 3rd level here you can double click inside this movie clip. So now we see we've got the selection line movie clip, which is inside the about button, which is hosted on scene 1, our stage. So we'll go back to the original stage and preview this movie clip. Now you'll see that floating over the home button changes to blue text that we set up originally, and floating over the about button will make it glow in and out. Buttons still work exactly the same, it just has a bit more depth of field. That, guys, is the basics to creating a website. So you go through and just add in all your pages that you need and just put in the functions to jump to each frame. Remember frame names and also the stop functions on the frames. Otherwise you will get errors coming up where your movie just plays through. So if I forgot to put the stop function on the about screen, when I click the about button, it would go through it and get to the end of the timeline and stop. right click actions, I'll put that back in. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Keep an eye out for some more. I'm going to have some tutorials up on design as well for Photoshop, also using Dreamweaver to create websites and embed these Flash applets, and also dabbling in design as well, Illustrator. So creating logos and things like that. This is just a very quick taste of how to integrate a Flash website to a page. If you want to head over to my website, www.pulsemultimedia.com.au, you'll see my screen. We do have some Flash objects embedded on this website that for some reason isn't loading and makes me look pretty bad. Because my Wi-Fi is not connected properly. Excuse the embarrassing moment, I'll try it through my portable Wi-Fi. Which doesn't seem to be working either. This is annoying. Alright, ignore what I just said. If it doesn't load this time, I'll just ignore it. Nope, we've got it. Okay, sorry about that glitch. So, portfolio page on my website, www.pulsemultimedia.com.au. It has not got the Flash Player embedded. This is just crashed and burned, hasn't it? So it looks as though Chrome is playing up because I obviously have Flash Player because I have Flash. Let me open Safari and see if we can get it going in there. www.pulsemultimedia.com.au. Portfolio. And it's not working there either, which is rather annoying. I'm going to have to sort that out. No, it's not going to load. Okay. Ignore that, guys. Just head over to the website with Flash Player on your machine and you'll be able to view it in its entirety. It is basically the same principle. It rolls through some images of work that I've done for clients and university. We've got some graphic design work there just done purely through Photoshop and just some image editing as well as some logo design. So tell me what you think. Comments below. Excuse me if this video has been slightly jumbled. First crack at doing a tutorial for you, and I promise I'll get better. But this is Drew from Pulse Multimedia. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.